This class is about the post-emancipation African American experience. It is about American history. And I hope that point is frankly very obvious, but one never quite understands or can anticipate all of these things. It is about American history fundamentally. At its core, the course is about citizenship, the most important keyword for the entire class. The course is about citizenship, how one becomes a citizen, what one does to preserve that citizenship. At its core then, the class asks the question, what does it mean to be American? Now I will ask this question explicitly a few times in the class, but it implicitly is woven through so much of what I'm going to be talking about. What does it mean to be American? Let me go to Hemingway and talk a little bit about him, in many ways as a kind of gateway or a guide to a global vision of American literature. Hemingway was very much a world traveler. Basically, you can get a map of the world by just looking at his writings, but he had a special love of the Spanish language. So For Whom the Bell Tolls, we'll be reading this in classes about the Spanish Civil War. And Hemingway was there as a war correspondent, but we can see that he actually got into combat situations right here. It's really interesting to think about Hemingway as both a journalist and also a novelist. The global dimension of Hemingway, but also the global dimension of the Spanish Civil War itself. It was a civil war, it was between two sides fighting in Spain, but it was also very much an international war in the sense that Russia was a part of it, Germany was a part of it, Italy was a part of it. It very much was a gathering of a lot of nations converging on the soil of Spain and fighting. Let me remind you what we had started to talk about. The class is organized into 3 fairly specific topics. The first of which is extrasolar planets. Planets around stars other than the Sun. Exoplanets, so-called. That's our topic. One of the things that I pointed out last time is that, surprisingly enough, until 10 years ago none of these were known. And it's only a very recent development that there's any actual evidence that these things exist. So, one question you might ask is, why are these things so hard to find? The science fiction folks seem to have no trouble, they just sort of go around in their spaceships and find these things all over the place. And to consider that question, let me show you a picture. Here's a picture of a star. This is the star Sirius. It's the brightest. It's a blow-up obviously of a photograph plus a little photoshopped arrow. That's not a celestial object, so this is a blow-up of a photograph of the star Sirius. Sirius is the brightest star in the sky to the easily visible with the naked eye. In fact, as I say, the brightest star. It's one of the closest stars. It's a little bit brighter than the Sun intrinsically, but it's 10 light-years away or so.